Welcome to this week's Retail Reality Check, a review of the latest tech installs brought to you by IHL Group. Today, we are tracking what has become a full-blown arms race in retail, POS modernization. But before we jump in, a quick word for some of you out there. If you're a payment provider, a POS vendor, or a PE firm hunting for retail tech acquisition targets, listen up. Guessing at market share is costing you deals. The North America POS/mPOS software share tracker maps over 184 ISVs. We're talking everyone from NCR, Oracle, and Fujitsu to Aptos, Shopify, Square, Tote, and Clover. It's got more than 30 market share metrics across 13 retail segments, all split by enterprise and SMB in one product built for custom graphing. It's time to stop guessing. Okay, let's dive into this week's theme, which is just perfectly captured by this take from IHL President Greg Buzek. He says, retailers defending legacy POS are defending a position the market has already moved past. And that's really the key here. The market has moved on, and you can just feel that the clock is ticking. And this isn't just some slow-moving trend. No, it's an out-and-out arms race. This week alone gave us 3 perfect examples of retailers choosing their weapons for the fight ahead. So first up, let's look at the enterprise scale. We've got Pilot. They just signed a massive 5-year deal to roll out NCR Voyix's commerce platform across their whole empire. That's over 900 locations. This is all about future-proofing the absolute core of their business, where they serve 1.2 million customers every single day. Now, what's really interesting about this next one is just the sheer scale of the rip and replace. Papa John's is literally tearing out a 2-decade-old internal system. Can you imagine? And they're replacing it with PAR's modern stack across 3,200 stores. It's a huge bet on velocity, choosing the speed of a modern platform over the control of a legacy one. And this example right here shows it's not just the giants making these big moves. Huck's Market is a perfect case of how mid-market retailers are leapfrogging those small incremental upgrades. They're rolling out an AI-native platform from Tote to 135 stores, and they're getting all these new capabilities, like faster transactions and built-in AI assistance at the register, all in one go. So these stories perfectly illustrate this growing divide, right? And it is absolutely backed up by hard data from IHL's 2026 Retail Transformation Study. The gap between the leaders and the laggards, well, it's getting wider, and it is happening fast. So here's the crucial point. 42% of all retailers now list refreshing their POS infrastructure as a top priority for this year. That is nearly half the entire industry feeling the pressure to modernize right now. So the urgency we're seeing in the headlines, it is not just hype. It is absolutely real. And this urgency, it creates an exponential advantage. You've got retail leaders now dedicating 52% of their IT budgets to innovation. And the laggards? They're only managing to scrape together 24%. That is more than double the investment in the future. You know, that funding gap directly leads to a massive capability gap. We're seeing leaders are now 92% more likely to have already modernized their POS to a flexible microservices architecture. So what does that mean? It means they can add new features and innovate in weeks, while others are just stuck in these year-long development cycles. They're basically playing a different game. And believe it or not, among small and mid-sized retailers, the pressure is even higher. A staggering 80% now rank a POS refresh as their #1 technology priority. I mean, when competition is fierce and margins are that thin, outdated tech isn't just an inconvenience, it's an existential threat. For them, this isn't about getting ahead, it's about survival. Okay, let's move to our lightning round and see how this whole theme of modernization and AI is playing out across the wider tech landscape just this week. In the world of payments, American Express is now protecting purchases made by AI agents. This is a huge signal, folks, that agentic commerce is officially going mainstream. And speaking of that, David's Bridal is now one of the very first retailers where you can complete a purchase entirely within an AI chat on platforms like ChatGPT. Wild stuff. Over in New York City, Birch Coffee is expanding to its 12th location, and they're doing it by leveraging Square's unified platform for absolutely everything, from their point of sale to their subscription service. The fast casual chain Bubbakoo's Burritos is partnering with the customer data platform Bikky to get a single, unified view of guest behavior and power some true personalization. Then you've got Tapestry. That's the parent company of Coach and Kate Spade. They're consolidating their global marketing tech onto Cordial's unified platform, which brings their email and SMS together across 5 different regions. Spirit's leader Campari Group just went live with a major SAP Cloud ERP implementation. This unifies their core operations and embeds AI to make that global supply chain so much more efficient. In the UK, the grocery giant Tesco is teaming up with Adobe. They're bringing more AI-driven personalization to their massive Club Card loyalty program. And over in China, the supermarket chain Tote Trading is seeing these huge gains, hitting 89% forecast accuracy and over 98% on-shelf availability, all after implementing Relex supply chain solutions. So, after that sprint through the week's news, let's just step back for the key takeaway. What does all of this activity really mean? The message from this week is crystal clear. The pace of change is accelerating, and the technology platforms being chosen today are going to define the winners for the next decade. That gap between retail's leaders and laggards, it's no longer just a gap, it's a chasm. So the real question is, where do you stand in the arms race? To see the full narrative with a lot more stories and over 40 case studies, just visit IHLservices.com.